Okay, hello grade 10s. I just want to make sure that we've covered everything and we've done revision on anything. So please make sure you know what rational, irrational, real, integer, natural, and whole numbers are. Ne? So make sure that you know these types of number systems. So for instance, if I have these numbers, ne, I think the safest thing is type them into your calculator and see what you get, because that's gonna help you there. Ne? So let's look at root 8. If I type that into my calculator, I get 2 root 2, right, which is that root form thing. If I want to make it a decimal, just press SD, and then I get 2.82 what, right. So if the decimal stops after 1 or 2 or 3 or even like 4 or 5 digits, if the decimal stops, it's rational, ne? Unless it continues but with a pattern like 2,67667, that is also rational, ne? But if the decimal continues like this, 82842, it's just random into infinity, then it's irrational, right? So decimals that stop or continue with a pattern, it's rational. Like 3.2, that's rational, right? 3.23, that's rational. 3.232323, that's rational. But 3.2345127, that's irrational, right? So this one here, you can see it's irrational. Right, then the cube root of 8, hopefully you know that, but let's quickly check. The cube root of 8 is 2. Right, that is definitely then an integer. It's a natural number and it's a whole number as well. Right, so that is you can say that's a natural number, that's correct. You can say that's a whole number, that's correct. You can say that's an integer, that's correct. And any number, that one is actually also, it's a real number, ne? It's irrational, but then whether it's rational or irrational, that's real. So if it gives you some form of answer on your calculator screen, it's real. If it gives you math error, it's non-real, right? Otherwise, if it gives you an answer, doesn't matter what the answer is, it's real, ne? So the number 2, it's part of all 4 these number systems, right? And then the root of -8, for example, if I type root -8, that gives me math error, meaning it's none of these number systems, because it's then in a whole class of its own, non-real number systems. We also refer to negatives under a root as complex. I get 2 types of math error. The one is with a negative under the roots, and the other one is when dividing with 0. Negative under a root is complex numbers, and then dividing by 0 is undefined. Like that is completely undefined in math. Okay, so that's a little bit revision on number systems. Let's just quickly finish the last one. That is root -8, which is then equal to the cube root of -8 is -2, right, which is not in these number systems. It's not natural or whole number, but it's definitely an integer. So root -8 is an integer, and then it is also then real, and all integers are also rational. So like, because they stop, ne? So that would be rational as well, right? It's irrational when the decimal continues with a haphazard pattern, like an irregular pattern. It's rational if the decimal stops, or if it's just like this one, which is 2, and this one, which is -2. That's -2, it stops there, right? Comma 0 if you prefer, but it stops there at the 2, then it's definitely also rational.